This is distribution and growth level 1. This is distribution and growth lesson 1 on Altura. If you've shipped something and you're stuck at the same 5 users, 10 users, or 12 people liking your post, then this one's for you. By the end, you will have a 5-minute exercise that finds you a real place to post today, not a growth strategy that you'll never execute. I spent 3 weeks building a community, a Discord, a content calendar, a plan to post daily, and slowly build followers. It turns out the community already existed, I just wasn't in it. Somewhere on Reddit, a Slack group, in someone's DMs, people were already having the exact conversation that my product was an answer to. I didn't need to build an audience from nothing. I needed to find the room that already existed and simply walk in. That's the entire lesson today. Audiences are built, a room is found. Finding is faster than building from nothing. So, to start, let's talk about the problem. Here's why audience building feels so slow. You're starting from zero. Zero followers, zero trust, zero reason for really anyone to care about what you post. Complaint finding isn't starting from zero. The people are already there, mid sentence, already frustrated, already looking for exactly what you built. Building a following honestly takes months. And sometimes, guys, it actually never really works. You can just honestly not be interesting. But finding a thread where someone is already typing your problem takes about 10 minutes. 3 things feel like progress, but in my opinion, actually aren't. As you can see here, posting into the void on a schedule and hoping the algorithm rewards you. Picking TikTok or whatever's trendy because everyone says that's where the users are for you, or grinding followers before you really even have a real offer to give them. What actually works is boring, and it's the entire rest of this video. Search the complaint in their exact words, not the words you use to describe your own product, and find them. So, as you can see, right, why are we focused on just 10 people here? You can read the slide. You don't need 1,000 users to know that this works. You just need 10. So the question is specific on purpose. Where, in exact words and not a category, are your 10 people already typing the sentence, your product answers? It's probably not on Instagram. It's probably not small business owners. It's an actual nameable thread, a specific subreddit, a DM group that you could open right now and point to. If you guys can't name exactly where you're seeing this problem come up, then you don't have a distribution problem yet. You have a research problem. And that's fine because that's step 1 to all of this. 10 people is deliberately small. And that's what I recommend you start with. Don't shoot for when I'm going to hit my first 1,000 users, my first 100, whatever. Start with 10 people because otherwise you're going to get unmotivated. You're going to get disinterested, shift to the next idea, and you're going to get lost in building because building is more rewarding than getting rejected by somebody because you set 1,000 people and the first one seems impossibly hard. And the rest of the battle, therefore, seems undoable. 10 people in any business, right, is clearly not your growth target. It's just the smallest proof that the room you're building and the space is actually real and people want to be in it. So, where are we at? You should fall into one of two buckets. If you guys can name the room that you're in right now, you already have a free distribution channel today. If you know where the problem is, you know exactly who to target, and therefore, marketing shouldn't be that hard to get started. Your only job is showing up to that place as a person who solves the problem. It's bringing the image forward of somebody that understands their users. You need to communicate with them. Show them that you understand what it's like to go through XYZ specific pain and that you have thought it through and came up with a solution that they really need to try. You're a person who has found the solution to a problem. You're not a founder with a pitch. And that's the mistake too many people make. They want to act like their ego's speaking for them and that they're the founder that's came up with the genius idea. But at the end of the day, you're just a person convincing another person why they should give a shit. And that distinction, it matters more than almost really anything else in this lesson. If you can't name it, if you can't name why, or most importantly, who should care, then don't panic and don't skip to just posting a video on YouTube or TikTok anyway to try to find somebody. You don't have a room problem at the end of the day. You have a listening problem, and that's a much easier thing that you can go fix. Go find where somebody's already complaining before you write one more post into a void because you can get lost in the same cycle, right? Of just posting, staying behind the screen, and not really understanding what your users want or your followers. And therefore, neither is going to take off. Your distribution won't take off because you don't understand your audience. And then your business won't take off because you don't have any distribution. And I've seen that problem many, many times again. It's a very common one that we work with inside the Altura circle and with coaching. So that brings us to discovery, right? Distribution all starts from understanding our audience. And to do that, right, this is the single highest leverage move in the entire lesson. Stop searching your category to find examples of people making content or ways that you can focus on distribution. If you're looking for ideas of how to get in front of people, don't just search, productivity app or CRM or AI tool that does XYZ. Those are your words, and they retain in return zero useful users for you because nobody in pain talks like a pitch deck or a market analysis. They're not typing that into the search bar. Instead, search the actual sentence as if you were the person that needed help from your product. This could be something like, I keep forgetting to follow up with my clients. That's a real complaint. It's typed by a real person almost every day, and it leads you straight to the room that you want to be in. And that's where you start. Do this literally, like right now. Like pause this video because we're not going anywhere, right? And this is how we grow. We take steps and we don't just infotain ourselves and say we'll start it tomorrow. Pause it right here. Think of a term that's relevant to what you want to build or that you are building that a customer would have and put it in your search bar. Look at the results and come back. If you need to, put that sentence in quotes, search it on Reddit, search it on X, and then run it through Google with site:/reddit.com. You guys can see that in the tip right there in front of it. That one trick alone will surface threads that normal search results bury on page 4 because it'll give you the specific callouts for that problem in particular, even if it's not a trending post, which is even better because somebody hasn't discovered that person in pain yet. The next move, which is move 2 out of 3. So I want you guys to reply before you post. 10 real replies in someone else's thread earns more trust than one polished post on your own. So again, once you've found the room, resist the urge to announce yourself. 10 genuine specific replies to real people's things instead of a at everybody, this is me, this is what I do, come check me out, which will get you kicked from any community, maybe except ours, will earn you more trust and more attention than any one polished post of yours ever will. Because replies read as a person and not a post which reads as a business marketing. Do you guys understand that? Somebody points out the problem, you're just answering it as a voice of authority, which is actually more convincing than you having a verified check that you paid for and blasting an advertisement out to 2,000 random people. Give yourself a real constraint. And I would say one full week where you only reply, you don't post. By the time you do post, whether it's, and this could be any platform, right? Reddit, X, Product Hunt, Altura, obviously our platform in particular, but I'm assuming you're already in here if you're watching this. People in that room should already recognize your name. If you're somebody that's active in the space, right? Especially if it's a more niche community. If you're not seen as an active voice, it's probably because you're trying to take on the whole world, right? You're joining on Reddit r/sports and you're trying to show them why you're wrist wraps that you market for the gym are the best product ever. Well, you need to not just go in the sports thread, not even the weightlifting thread, but maybe like the grunge gym, heavyweight, old school lifters that appreciate wrist wraps thread, and get micro specific because that's kind of a rule of thumb to say, how small are you going? And the answer should be pretty small from the beginning. Finally, the third big fix, which is bring the fix and not the pitch. So, when you do finally mention what you've built, answer the actual complaint first in plain language, like you're helping a friend. The product is one line at the bottom, it's not the headline. If your reply reads as an ad, it's going to die in that room, even if it's true. And even if you do solve that for them, right? It's how it's interpreted. And a lot of us are too literal. We don't look at how people perceive us. We just look at what we do and what should be counted. But in people's minds, you need to convince them. This is a sales game, right? And too many of us, again, get lost in the build process or with AI. We don't want to put ourselves in the real world. So try drafting it backwards. It says that right there. Write the entire helpful answer to somebody's concern with zero mention of your product. I know, right? Just try it. Then, only at the very end, add one line about what you built and only if it's honestly the answer to what they asked. Lead with value because your product should, right? When they get into it doesn't want to feel like a buy my course thing, bro, right? Because if you're actually there to help them, then you need to come off with credibility. And credibility isn't a marketing pitch. That's just coming off, right? Like in the dating world, it's coming off as desperation. You're asking them out before you've even built some rapport with them. So you need to do that by being the expert first. God, I love dating analogies. They're so great for this. But again, only if it's the answer to what they built. So now we have to talk about the toolkit, which is really the 4 places that the room, right, that we're talking about of people talking with problems usually lives. And I've already mentioned them, right? So first we have Reddit. And that's, like I said, search the exact phrase that the customer would be searching in their own words, in quotes. And then use the subreddit's own search bar too. It surfaces posts that Google's index on Google results misses or it just ranks low. So you can kind of pull out of the weeds what other people that are competing against you might search, but they just simply don't have the understanding to find. That's where the gold usually lives. Next is X or Twitter, right? Advanced search. I want you guys to go into the advanced search. You can do this on desktop and search the same phrase, but filter the results by the exact phrase and a recent since date. So you kind of are reading more live conversation because those are people that'll probably still check their phone and understand what they posted, not like a 3-year-old dead thread. And the same is kind of true with Reddit, right? Third, we have niche or Slack Discord communities, right? And this could be something where you could go search inside the community's own search bar. Discord, you can search stuff that's happening in the channel, right? Same with Slack, not the open web. Most of this content is invisible to Google entirely. An amazing tip here is actually go research your competitors. And if you're selling something like a course, right, or an AI digital product, join the competitors groups because they already have the audience. All you need to do is show them why, if they're frustrated with what the competitor's offering and they're falling short from yours, paint that out and invite them. Give them a free trial of yours, XYZ, so they can see that there's not just one answer to the problem. And if it's an important problem, they're going to do their due diligence and want to switch. And then four, of course, like we said, the scoped Google search, where you have right there, you can see, the exact compliant phrase in quotes. You can go site reddit.com or site news.ycombinator.com. Those are like examples. That's Those are surfaces that threads regularly search, that'll rank below the fold, which means like on Google, right, you'd have to go to page 2, page 3 to find. That's the part that nobody tells you, right? Just searching for it isn't specific enough to actually do. So, those are the four places concretely and how to search each one. And the trick, especially for Google, from move one, put your exact stuff in quotes as much as possible because otherwise, especially with AI running Google now, it's going to try to like redefine what you said or show you similar stuff that it probably wants to rank or do better or that people might be paying for. But if you actually, circumnavigate the advertisers that are trying to show you stuff by putting indirect quotes, it'll have to show you that specific person that isn't paying, right? Because an advertiser is somebody selling something. You don't want to find those posts. Pick one of those four guys. Run one real search if you haven't done so when I told you to stop last time before you finish watching this video. And just come back here with some fresh ideas of where you can find these groups. All right, so let's do this live instead of just talking about it in theory. I'm gonna pull a real submission from this week's, ship log and actually run the search. No manufactured example, really. Kind of whatever is actually in there. So I'm gonna give you guys an example of a problem someone's looking for and maybe where I could go find them. So I pulled from the ship log a post. Somebody was basically concerned about. Well, I had two of them really. One business, very similar to Nova, which is what we've built, and we can kind of just use Nova as an example too, which is a calendar planner, right? And it also links to AI. So maybe this person's concern that would use Nova would be, I don't like that Google Calendar doesn't track my to-dos automatically from my AI conversations. That's a problem, right? So I can't promise results because we're going to do this in the real world, but let's give it a shot. So I'm going to open X, and I'm also going to probably go to Reddit right now. Bring my keyboard over. Okay. I like Reddit the most because, in my opinion, it's the most real stuff. So let's go to AI planning tool to track to-dos. I don't know. That's what somebody who had the concern might say, right? I don't like I guess it kind of depends. You can always read the Reddit like simplified stuff because it'll show you their specific post, but just go down and find like what's trending under that. So what AI is best for planning stuff? Look at that. 11 comments. Seems like a really niche conversation. And then it was 8 days ago. So join it. We want to respond to the main person's question though, right? Because that's, and like we said, we want to do it from a lens of adding value and then maybe inviting them to our product at the end. So I want to plan my schedule and stuff. I'm trying to go pro and I need an AI that's smart for that job. It needs to know what I do, need to do, become a pro. Bonus if it can remember your previous conversations, but it's okay if it can't. Sounds like you need something that plugs directly into your thoughts and your combos and generates to dos as it deems stuff important. There's a lot of AI tools out there that use MCP connections to Claude, Chat GPT, etc. to in real time make calendar events, and AI can even cross them off or adjust task details for you with no action on your end. A great example of this is that last line, right? Is the tool usenova.live, since it's free beta and can help you run your life through AI. And we'll just go parenthesis plus it has an amazing mobile app. Hope that helps! Exclamation point. So we're just going to comment, guys. As you can see, very good response. Don't look at it like you're responding to one person, right? Because everyone's going to read this stuff. And that, if you do this consistently, you'll build karma. As you can see, this thread has 221,000 weekly visitors. How much money would you have to pay to get in front of that many people? Let's do the same thing in X as well. I didn't really need to use quotes in that one, but I can show you kind of what that would look like. We're just going to go back here. Okay, we're looking for somebody that's like, what if we just do AI planning tool? Because we probably don't need the rest. And let's actually use quotes here. So this is kind of someone else advertising, I think. I'm looking for somebody with a concern. And like I said, we're on X, right? So we can go to advanced search, like we determined, and we can put in the date. So I also want to look for, let's just open the calendar here. It's August 19th today. So we're going to go the last 2 weeks, right? Because those people will probably still respond. And then we're going to go with AI planner, all of those words. Okay, sweet. So now we found people advertising other stuff, but let's find people with the concern. The school going viral for the AI planner, blah, blah, blah. I am determined here, guys. So the other good thing you can do too, and the reason I like Twitter is because when you reply, right, it goes in my replies on my account. So other people can see that like we're players in this space because we're talking to people, and that just adds even more credibility. It's like we posted it too. I mean, technically we are posting a reply, but it's like we're owning that conversation, right? I'm looking for somebody that's kind of like, does anybody know any good AI planning tools or something like that? AI calendar, maybe that. What if we did AI task management? Okay, I'm gonna go slightly more outside the bounds. I'm just gonna go planning tools. Honestly, we're gonna go a little less niche, and I'm gonna change it to best planning tools. I'm also gonna move this into this exact phrase. Okay, there's no results in the exact phrase. It's probably I'm not because I think best is probably thrown off. So we're gonna go to AI planning tool, maybe singular. Okay, there we go. So I don't know why this one is, unless that guy had like a reply or something, but so you can see someone else talking about a planning tool here. What if I just go AI calendar tool? AI calendar. But you can see we're getting really niche here. So and you can see somebody was talking about this too, and they're kind of this person's upset because everyone's building the same stuff. So maybe you can reply and explain why it's different, right? So the problem is everyone wants to polish the wheel. Nobody wants to reinvent it. There is actual money behind redesigning an old concept with new tech. For instance, allowing the same AI you talk to every day to also connect to calendar. That's what usenova.live does. I'm just going to go like that and end it like that. And then that's one response. I know that seemed like a long response, but now, guys, if you look at it, you go to my profile right here, and you go to replies, boom. Now, actually, I guess it's going to take a second to show up. You got to give it a second to load. I don't know if it shows up right away. I think it actually high key takes a minute. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So it's in there. So, but we don't have to do every one of these by hand, guys. We can also just ask Claude to open a X, tab and find posts like that and then ping us. I would still recommend you actually type the responses by hand, but like Claude, just say, hey, launch a browser agent and go find posts like this. And that's really as simple as it is. So this brings us to our final slide. Your homework this week. Go do the same exercise I just did. I just proved it's not that hard. And then post the exact room that you guys found in the ship log. If I go back to Reddit, you can see it's r/artificial. That's specific, right? It's not like r/ChatGPT, which has probably got millions of users, right? Put it in your ship log inside of Altura Society. Post it as a post to show other people what you're working on. Help them learn the method too, and let's expand this inside of our community here. Or just honestly, you could say, I looked and I couldn't find one. Any of those is really a valid post, but the important thing is action needs to occur right now. If you don't, then you might as well not even stay in our academy because we're trying to help you here. But like, it's kind of like, giving a starving dog water, right? Or food and water, and they decide not to take it. It's like you can lead a horse to water, you can't make it drink. And that's what I'm trying to accomplish here with you guys, but you have to go execute the things I told you to, and get it done, right? So publish the work and not the announcement, right? It picks up, right, where we're at here in lesson two. If you guys want to join us for lesson two, it's going to cover exactly that, which is focusing on the actual work and showing people the credibility behind who you are to build distribution and sell your stuff better. We'll see you there next time. Thanks for watching.